This is Catherine Watkin here of Selling from the Heart, and I'm here to do a live interview with Jessica Fearnley, who did the Get More Clients Saying Yes course. So I'm very excited to be speaking to Jessica and talking about her experience in the program. And so, Jessica, hello. Do you want to start by introducing yourself and your business? Let people know what it is you do.
Sure. Thank you for having me. My name's Jessica Fearnley. I am the work-life balance business coach, and I help people with three things really. Firstly, to get more time freedom from their business if things have got very busy with lots of clients booked in. Secondly, helping them get more money from their business, and thirdly, getting them to work with better clients who are a really good fit for the services that they provide.
Fantastic. And that sounds really clear. Tell me about where you were at in your business before you did that course.
Sure. I was so new to my business. I think I was about 6 months in when I did your course, Catherine. And I really vividly remember you did a webinar and I really wanted to talk to you about my business. And I just had this kind of internal yes. And I was like, I really want to do this course. But for me at the time, I had such a block around money. So spending the money on a course was just, it was so scary for me to do, and it felt like a real risk at the time, actually, just to kind of be thinking, oh, should I spend this money? But honestly, it was the best money that I spent setting up my business. It was such a helpful thing, and I really appreciated just the relationship that we built over the course of the 8 weeks together. And I really have looked back on it as being something that was completely foundational to my business getting the way it has been.
Okay, great. And so I really like that you said about the relationship. So you felt that even though you were in a group program and you were by no means the only person in that program, there would have been quite a few people in it. You still felt that you felt that feeling of us building a relationship. Do you want to say a bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think I've done other group programs since, and I've never quite found the same connection actually with other coaches, because I think when some people put together a group program, they just kind of think, what's the least I can get away with, appearing. And sometimes you buy like a big brand course, and the person who you think you're working with, they're not even present on the course at all. But I really enjoyed the weekly live calls as part of your program, and you just really took the time, to answer everyone's questions, and you do really in-depth Q&A with people. I remember there were several times when I came to the call just with absolutely burning questions that I was like, please help me with this, and you were just really you really took the time to really talk through it and coach people in detail on the call, which I haven't come across in a program of that size actually. So that for me really stood out. I still remember it 2 years later.
Oh, thank you. That's really nice for me to hear as well, to hear that was the experience you had of it at the time. So that's wonderful. Thank you. And tell me a bit about, where was your business? You said it was 6 months in, but where was the business at? Like, how was it working? How many clients were you getting through? Were you charging enough? Tell me a bit about how you felt before you did the course.
Sure. So when I came on board with your program, actually, things had just really picked up slowly, and I did that on purpose because I was so new to it, and I wanted to take things at a very manageable pace. But I think I was just undercharging chronically for my services. So I've said to several people since, really, kind of in the first year of my business, I put a naught on the end of my prices twice, because it just, as I kind of grew and developed, I just thought, I'm not charging in line with the value that I'm bringing to people, and I'm not really getting the clients that I want to work with because I'm just not really sort of asking enough commitment from them. And I think it was really tough for me going through some of the modules. I mean, I really, when I sign up to do something, I do it with bells on. So I did all of the homework, I watched everything, I did all of the worksheets, I took it really seriously. And I think you have to, otherwise, what's the point in signing up? But I took it really seriously because I really wanted to get my business to a point where I enjoyed it rather than just feeling terrified by everything that was out there. So I think the summer before I did the course, I remember talking to someone, and I think I'd asked her to pay £30 for what I was going to do in a 2-hour session. And she said it was too expensive. And I was just like, seriously, oh my goodness. So I think it was really helpful just learning a lot of these foundational principles about how you build a business, and certainly it's really stood me in good stead. When I did the course, I was working predominantly offline with people in my local area. Since then I've stopped doing that because I now have an online business, which is just as well, because during the course of this year, we actually moved 200 miles north. So now we're based in Yorkshire. But it just meant that for me, as soon as my broadband was plugged in, I could just resume my normal business activities. And I think it just gave me a real push being on your program to really just know how to do that and how to deconstruct everything that I'd built offline and transition it online.
Yeah. And what changed for you at the time of doing the course? Like, what were the immediate changes that you saw as a result of doing it?
So I think it gave me a lot of confidence and I think it helped me start to unlock the person that was inside that I was terrified to sort of be, if that makes sense. So I know you had a guarantee on the course, and you said you will make back the money, you'll make back the investment that the course is. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I can't do that. That, you know, it just felt really impossible. But actually, I made more back than the course actually cost me. And then the month afterwards, I did £4,000 in sales that month. And I could not have done that on my own. So I think it was just, it was kind of unlocking the potential that was in me. And I really felt in the conversations that we had before I signed up, I really felt that you saw some of that spark and you helped me just kind of bring it to the surface. So yeah, I think for me it really changed me and helped me grow and develop in the way that I needed to.
Yeah, and it really helped you really connect with that value, didn't it? Because I do remember having the conversation with you before you signed up, and you were so nervous and so terrified of making that investment. But actually, if you'd known then that you would have earned £4,000 the following month, and actually the way you were pricing yourself, it would have been difficult. So it was about the value, it was about increasing your prices, it was about then learning how to engage people in those conversations. And actually, I should just sort of caveat for anyone who's watching this, I don't actually guarantee that you will get the return on the investment. I guarantee that you'll be satisfied with the course, but I do say very clearly the course is designed that if you follow and you do everything I say, you should make it back. And like you said yourself, you followed it to the letter, made £4,000 the following month. So yay, go Jessica, that's amazing. Well
amazing.
done.
It was a very good investment. And I think that was one of the things I took away. The key thing is investment, isn't it? That actually you invest the money and you get a return. And for me, that was just such a no-brainer. But I think I did say to you in that conversation, didn't I? I said, I need to speak to my husband about this, which is the classic kind of, panic, like, oh, I don't know, I need a get out clause in this conversation. But I said it because I meant it. And I spoke to my husband and he was like, yeah, you can do it if you want to. And so, there you go.
Well, I hope I handled that well. In the way that I teach you to handle it. I think you've already touched on this when you were talking earlier, but how do you feel that doing that course 2 years ago? Well, actually, tell us a little bit about where your business is now, because of course we're looking back when you weren't charging enough, you didn't even believe it was possible for you to recoup the investment in the program. What does the business look like now, 2 years later?
So I've been on a real journey with my business, and I think you can start off just saying, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell X, Y, and Z, and it's going to always be like this. And I think I've just evolved things. I have done things that I never thought I'd have the confidence to do, like start a Facebook group, which terrified me. I haven't done as much this year because I had a baby earlier in the year. So I'm running the business on a sort of skeleton around my family commitments. But I did a lot of Facebook Live, which again, I never would have thought I had the confidence to do. I think it's been a case of finding my following. And again, it's something that you taught me. You kind of said, be really clear about who you want to attract, be really clear with your message, and they will be attracted to you once you start putting out the things that they connect with. And I think that's really been true for me. So it was a case of finding my people, finding my following, and then talking to them and saying, what do you actually want to do? Like, how do you want to work together? How can I help you? And through the course of that, I've created a mastermind program, which I'm about to launch for the third time since I first came up with it last year. And it's become my favorite thing that I do, actually. Far and away, it's been the thing that has really connected me with people that I love working with. And everyone who was in it for the last 6 months has actually renewed to do it for another 6 months. So I'm so thrilled. I'm doing work that I absolutely love, and the business just feels like I've kind of got it to a point where I'm comfortable with it and it's doing what I want it to effectively.
Brilliant. That sounds, and was it 100% of people continuing?
Yeah.
That's
and we added in a couple more as well. So it's really been, it's really kind of you know, for something that I started up, people in my group were saying, "Oh, can you do something like this?" And I was like, "That's not really what I thought I'd end up doing." But it's become something that I actually really love doing it. And I think when you get the right people working with you, paying an amount that you feel reflects the value of what you're doing with them, it just really changes your business. So yeah, I really feel the impact of that course. You know, silly as it sounds, 2 years on, I can look back and say of pretty much of all the things that I did in that first year, that was one of the like best value options that I did.
And how do you think that doing that course then has impacted you getting the business to where it is now? What do
I
you think the
think
key things are that you got in place?
I think it taught me how to speak about what I do in a way that resonates with the right people who I want to work with, and how to identify those people. I remember when I did the course, a massive thing for me was funnels into the business. And I think just getting an idea about what works for me, which can be completely different to what works for other people. I think it's getting those funnels into your business, getting them operational, and realizing that you're nurturing people along the sales journey. That's been a really helpful thing for me. And actually, I've really found, particularly this year, that the people who come through my sales funnel and pop out at the end, they are my people who I love to work with. So that's definitely been something that I picked up during the course that I did with you.
And you said before, actually, this was before we came on live, but we were talking about being introverts, and you were saying how you're an introvert and how it suits you now that you've taken the business online.
Yeah.
And so, you know, what you're talking about there as well is finding sales funnels, finding ways of bringing people in that actually work for you as an introvert, that feel good and inflow for you rather than feel uncomfortable or drain your energy.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's so much in the online business world about kind of, oh, just do what I do and you can build a business just like mine. And I felt increasingly that my business has started to really improve when I've just ignored all of that and I've done what was right for me and what really chimed with me as a person. And I think, yeah, you know, you do talk about in the course how to understand yourself and how that really contributes to your business and helps you to know what will work for you. And I think it's given me the confidence to just say, everyone else might be posting in Facebook groups. I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. So yeah, I think it's been really helpful.
And when you find the thing that works for you, you might only have to do one or two of those things instead of being very scattered with like 10 different marketing approaches. So this is an impossible question, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Like, where do you think your business would be if you hadn't done this course when you did it?
I just I don't even know. I don't even know if I would have gone the distance. I think I might have just given up because I feel like when I look back, I was like a fetus when I spoke to you. I was so nervous and I was so kind of like, oh, it's really hard and I don't know what to do. And I feel like everyone else is getting clients and I don't know how to do it. And I don't know if I would have carried on for much longer. I think you were one of the first people that I came across who was doing online business. And by kind of, I think I saw you in an online summit a couple of years ago. I can't remember if it was before I did the course or afterwards, but I think that really was a springboard for me for seeing other big names in the field and just getting to understand what it was possible to do with online business, really. So just in every way, I think it was just exactly the right thing at the right time for me.
Yeah. And you know what you didn't have back then was you didn't have possible for you. You couldn't see yourself in your full potential in your business. And I think that then that's one of the big things that's changed for you over that period, isn't it? Is actually now being able to see who you really are and the value you can bring, and actually have that vision for yourself. And then finally, what would you say to somebody who's watching this, listening in, and who's actually thinking maybe where you were? Because I know I remember speaking to you, it was an impossible decision. If you hadn't joined, I wouldn't have been surprised. You were so on the edge with it. What would you say to anyone else who's in that position that might be feeling the way you did, that it just felt like too much of a risk to invest that money?
I think I would say just don't worry about it. Like there are courses out there that people do and that don't give results. And honestly, this course that I did with Catherine was not one of them. And Catherine, you have so many people who've done the course who have given you amazing testimonials. You know, you just have that kind of like what's the word like the backing, really, the social proof. That's the phrase I'm looking for. You have the social proof behind you, just people who are saying this was a really helpful course, this really changed my business. Not everyone has that, and I just think go for it. What have you got to lose?
Oh, Thank you, Jessica, and thank you so much for doing this quick interview about the course. And it's wonderful to reconnect and hear how well everything's going, for you. Right, so thank you very much. And if anyone wants to find out more about you, where can they go to find out about you?
I have a Facebook page, Jessica Fearnley Business Consulting. I have a website. If you can find me on Facebook, you can find all my stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I'll say goodbye to you now. Lots of love, and lots of love
Thank
to everybody
you.
who's listening in. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.